Hey my Juju Bees, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing today? Please forgive me today because my camera's off, but I needed to be able to get on here and wrap it up with you guys. So how are you guys doing today? If you are new here, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would so be happy if you did. Thank you so much for tuning in. It may seem like I uploaded 2 videos today, but I really this is my first video for today. The one I did yesterday, uploaded late. I thought it was uploaded already, but it was not. And so it seems as though I'm doing 2 videos today, but that's fine. I just want to make sure I stay on the ball. So yesterday, I think I ended off talking about, sorry, if you're new here, we have been discussing the ethics series, and we are on book 2 right now. And I think I was discussing, Alani had used her piece on ethic. And, you know, she was like kicked out of the hospital by Morgan. And I think that's where I'm at. That's bad because I usually go look at the other video. But today, I'm sorry, I didn't tell y'all what I'm eating. I have ribs today. Can you see? Rib. Asparagus and a baked potato. Made by me. But I think that's where I was left off at. Ethic has been shot, and Alani was the one who did it. And Bella has convinced the police officers that it probably was Cream who did it, even though it wasn't. And now Alani is trying to pull herself together from the traumatics of killing the love of her, or trying to off the love of her life. Excuse me, I'm gonna get the book because I need to make sure. I'm so sorry, guys, because I really didn't want to do this, but my daughter's not here to help me today. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So she is in the hospital. She's refusing to let the people wash anything off of her. And so she realizes that this is insane. That she's insane, he's insane, they're all insane. For trying to love each other still through something so tragic. So she went home after everything has happened, after they let her out of the hospital. And after they let her out of the hospital, they basically said she had like a psychotic episode, like a psychotic break. Like she had dealt with so much and she never really had the proper release for what was going on. So she kind of, you know, just had a nervous breakdown basically. So after there are ethics still in the hospital, Alani's in there, but she's not really responsive. And they tried to clean her up, but she said no, because she felt like if something happens to him and he is no longer here, then of course I don't want the blood to be gone. And then she like has a breakdown, like, oh my God, I can't believe that I did something like this. Like he has kids. I didn't even consider them when everything was happening. And when everything was happening, like I just disregarded any and everybody except for me at that time. And so I told y'all, Bella went in there and she told her that it was okay. She said everybody needs a little forgiveness sometimes. Bella is like the glue, man. She like holds everything together in the beginning. Like she really does. And so she was so hurt. She like, God, please fix this. Please fix me, because of course I have to be gone off my rockers just like everybody else, because I shouldn't have even done something like this. And um, so when they leave there, everybody leaves the hospital. Messiah takes Morgan to the range that's in the back of Ethic's house, because he has like all of this land that he has made a range in the back. And he told her that he wants her to be able to protect herself in the event that something happens to her. Like, he like, I have enemies, and not just Cream. You know, I haven't lived my life, you know, by the book accordingly. So it's plenty of people who don't care for me. So if in any event I'm not with you, you need to be able to protect yourself. And she like, I don't want to do this, you know. And like, you gotta focus. He was like, because a person who could be, he said, a man could be looking you right in your face and not mean you no good. So you gotta know how to take care of yourself. So her and Messiah have kind of been like spending a lot of time with each other, with Ethic being under, and her being there with the kids. So when the kids go to bed, you know, that's when they spend their time with each other. So so Alani, you know, she gets out of the hospital. They release her out of the hospital, and of course she's in the clear because Bella has sicked the police on Cream. So nobody even thinks that she's even done anything. Nobody asks about the weapon. Bella says she got rid of it because she knows that her daddy wouldn't want Alani to be in jail. So now Alani's trying to pick up the pieces of her life, okay? She want to get rid of Ethic and everything and everyone that's associated with him. But it's really hard for her to do that because those Okafers make sure that you don't forget about them, or that you don't move on. Dang, I got some on my pants. That you don't move on without them. So she at the car dealership trying to trade in her car that Ethic bought her. Now, he had bought her like a BMW, I think it was, fully loaded. It probably had 700 miles on it. So she trying to trade it in, get her a new car, and start fresh. So after she do that, she get her a Prius. They give her cash, or give her a check for the rest. And she goes to see Nanny. And when she walks into the room, it's like a flower oasis in there. There's flowers everywhere. It's like eucalyptus blowing out, you know, in the air. The windows is open. Nanny's fingernails is polished. Her face looks bright. You know, she just looked like she just had a whole little spa day in there. But she does all the time because Ethic made sure that she had that. And she like looking around, you know, saying to herself, like, who did all these flowers come from? Because I'm her only living, or I'm her only family. So Who could have done this? So the nurse comes back in. Mind you, the same nurse that Ethic had been paying to make sure that Nanny was cared for. She was like, "Oh, another visitor." And Alani like, "Another visitor? Like, who else be here to see her?" And she was like, "Oh, her son. He was coming in here all the time." She was like, "He's a patient here now. But before he was a patient here, he was coming all the time, fussing over her and bossing everybody around, telling us how to do and what to do. He sent her flowers every week." And Alani was laughing like, "Okay." And she was like, he had been coming in here every day, and now that he's a patient, he be coming down here sitting there talking to her, reading to her, and she's like, "Oh no." And that must mean that he's awake. So she asked her, like, "Well, do you know what room number he in?" So the nurse gives her the room number. But mind you, Morgan had put Alani on the block list. Like, she couldn't come back in there. So she couldn't come and visit him on her own. But since she was already in the hospital visiting somebody else, she was able to try to, sneak up there just to check on him to see if he was okay. So she like, "I'm finna go check and see, if everything is okay." So she goes up there and she's thinking like, what am I going to do when I see him? Am I going to apologize? What am I going to do? So she goes up there, and when she gets to his door, she looked through the little glass and she see somebody in there, and the girl is like leaned over the bed, and she done kissed him in the mouth. And she like, okay, so it's Dulce with her can't get a clue self. So it's Dulce. So Alani's like, "Oh my God, what was I even thinking? Like, I don't even know why I came up here. I should have just left well enough alone. I already tried to take this man out, and here I am in here trying to be jealous of another girl and all the drama I done caused. Let me just go." So she leaves. Feelings all hurt. So in Ethic's room, he wakes up and he like looking around, and he looking at Dulce, and he like, "Where are you? Why are you in here?" And if I have to say so myself, he was rude when he woke up. And I know that ain't the face that he was looking for, and she is not the person that he wanted to see, but he was being rude. He was like, "What you doing here? Like, what are you doing?" And she was like, "Well, Morgan told me that everything that happened." She was like, "And I just could not leave you in here by yourself. I love you. I gave up my whole life for you." He was like, "Get out, don't say, just get out. You ain't it," basically, Ma. Like, you ain't it. Like, here I am, laid up in the hospital, broken ribs, bleeding out, and you ain't the person that I was hoping was kissing me on the other end of my eyes. I thought I was hoping that it was Alani, but then here you are. Just get on out. Just get on out. He was like, you just ain't it. You're not it." And she like, "I changed my life for you, and I moved up here to be with you." He's like, "I ain't never asked you to do that. Like, that was something you did on your own." Cause see, Dulce said she was chasing the dollar. She wasn't chasing Ethic and all that he had to offer. She was looking for somebody to finance her, so she could just be the pretty woman walking on his arm. She wasn't trying to do nothing or be nothing. She wasn't no good role model for the girl. So it's like, "Girl, I don't want you around. You here for a good time. And you give me that, and I appreciate you, but after that you can move around, because it ain't really too much more that you have to offer me, or that I'm even gonna be willing to offer you. So go ahead on." They'll say, "Just go ahead on." So she's like, "I'm not gonna wait on you forever." He was like, "And I know. Skedaddle. Skedaddle." I was with him on that. Like, don't say, "Go on, come on," and you just don't throw yourself on that man. So while he's sitting there laying in the bed, Morgan comes in. pause. I be going too fast. My man be going too fast now. And then Alani, she leaves the hospital, and as she's leaving the hospital, Bella calls her like, I know I'm not supposed to be talking to you. She was like, but I'm at school, and I started my period. I tried to call Morgan, but Morgan didn't answer, so can you please come and pick me up from school? So she like, okay, baby, just drop me your location right now, and I'll be right there. Now, mind you, in her mind, it's like, am I really supposed to be doing this? Am I overstepping some boundaries? Because considering where I am, I just shot your daddy. We in a whole state of turmoil. But she had told Bella that her and Bella could be friends, and she felt like that she had to keep her word to Bella. So she went and picked up Bella. So Morgan barges into Ethic's room like, do you know that Bella is with her? And he like, with who? Now, mind you, he is wrapped up, bandages up, 3 broken ribs, bleeding out of his bandages, can't hardly breathe, pain out the wazoo. And this is what Morgan that came here. Now, I like Morgan sometimes, but she is one of the most selfish people I've ever met, book-wise. Her and Messiah, they both just selfish together, but that's a whole nother story. So, she was like, she called me and I couldn't get right to her in time because I was in class, and I went there to the school, and don't you know that they signed her out? She was like, and I'm mad at that school because they didn't even say anything, to me. They didn't call and say it was okay. And then so Ethic was like, she's fine. Like she's not going to cause any harm to her. She's fine. And she like, how are you okay with this? Like, when did you start loving her? Like, it's just too much for her. Morgan feels like that with Alani around, that she will no longer be as important to Ethic as she is. And she thinks that she'll lose her place in the family with Alani being around. Not knowing that Ethic needs someone to love him too. Ethic needs someone to pour into him what he tries to pour into everybody else. But she can't see past that. She can only see that if Alani gets in too good, that her seat at the table is just over. He like, it's okay, Morgan, come over here, let me talk to you. So she climbed in the bed with him, and he telling her, I always love you, you'll always be my daughter, but there's something deeper that's going on with you other than, everything that's going on. And so she started to talk about her rape, or she was violated by Lucas and the other mystery guy who is no more. And Lucas isn't either. But it talks about how she feels like her voice is gone. It's almost like when she was deaf, and that if a man wants something from her, that he'll be able to take it, even if she doesn't want it. They'll still take it. Like her no doesn't mean anything. Even with Messiah, she said she feels like, she didn't say this out loud because Ethic doesn't know, but in her mind she was saying, even though she consents every time with him, she thinks that if it comes to a time where he wants it and she doesn't, that he'll take it anyway. And he won't, but that's how her mind is. And he was like, we need to get past this and talk to somebody about it or let it all out some kind of way, but this is just gonna rot inside of you. He was like, now can you please go get the nurse because I am in excruciating pain, okay? So I think after she goes with Bella or whatever, then Alani winds up dropping Bella back off at the hospital. And so I think one day she was at the church for something. Alani was at the church for something, and mind you, Bella was in the pageant. And they were trying to say that Bella shouldn't be able to participate in the pageant anymore because she doesn't have a mentor that shows up. Like Morgan don't come all the time, and Alani is, of course, like trying to keep her distance with her or whatever. And so they were sitting in like a little circle thing, and the moms had to talk to the daughters, and Bella, of course, was sitting there by herself. And so Alani overheard the church girl, Alicia, who she doesn't like, she be calling her the church hoe. She said that she didn't think that Bella should be able to be a participant, and that she thinks that next year that they need to do a better job of screening these type of families because she comes from a single father home and she doesn't have anybody, blah, 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 blah. So Alani goes in there and was like, oh, I'm sorry, I was so late, now what are we doing now? So she kind of like fills in and make it seem like, Bella's not left out. So Bella's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. She's so happy to see her. So then she asked her like, well, can I go with you for a little while afterwards? And she like, I don't know, Bella. And so she was like, what if I call my dad? So she called her dad like, hey, Dad. And he like, hey, B, you know, I want to get a little sunshine. You should come see me because I want to get a little sunshine in my room. And she like, hey, I'm at the pageant thing at church, and guess what I saw? And he like, who is that? And she like, online. And he like, oh, isn't that sweet of her? You know, you're not asking too much out of her. And she like, no, she offered to do it. Is it okay if I go with her afterwards? He was like, you can't be intrusive, you know, of her space. And she was like, she said it's okay. She said if I call you, as long as you say it's okay. Now imagine she don't put him on speakerphone. And so Alani's like, please don't put him on speakerphone. Please don't put him on speakerphone. Boom, she put him on speakerphone. And he like, is she right there with you? And she like, yeah. She like, please don't ask to speak to me. Please don't ask to speak to me. And so he like, Bella, take me off speakerphone and pass Alani the phone. And so Alani takes the phone, and like they both are like holding the phone, okay? Like exchanging the breaths. Nobody's saying anything. So Bella confused, like, hello? Like somebody say something. I want to know if I can go over her house. And Alani's not saying anything. And I think she might have said something like, she's always welcome. And he was like, she's a lucky girl. And so she took the phone back and put it back on speakerphone. He was like, all right, well, I'll see you later. And he said out loud, like, take care of my girl. And then Alani was like, oh, always. He was like, I was talking to Bella. So just that fast, she got you up in the hospital, bandages all up, but that don't mean nothing because the love that you have for her is so deep that it don't even matter. So Alani and Bella start spending a whole lot of time together. She wound up taking her to a library, and, you know, checking out some books and telling her how she loves books and how, you know, that's how she done been to so many places in her mind and so many adventures in her mind because she can pick up a good book and go anywhere and do anything, which I totally agree because that's how I feel. Reading for me is like taking a vacation every day I can. But so she take her to the bookstore to get her a couple books. I think like one of the books is like The Lost Boys and The Coldest Winter Ever, of course. And then I Know Why the Caged Bird Sing. She gives her that book and they just kind of sit out and relax. And so she said, well, we got to get us some snacks, you know, so we can sit in the corner and read a couple books. And so she goes to get up and she kind of like passes out. She's kind of like lightheaded. So the people at the place like, oh my God, like, do you want us to call the ambulance? Is everything okay? Is everything okay? She's like, no, I'm fine. You know, I just got too excited. Maybe I got up too fast. And they're like, okay. And she was like, are you sure, ma'am? Because we can call the police and they can get the doctors or whatever. She's like, no, it's fine. She was like, don't worry about it. I'm just pregnant. And so Bella's like by my dad? You know, I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and she like, yes. She was like, but Bella, please don't tell your father. Because at this point, she doesn't even know if she wants to keep the baby. Remember, she tried to go to the clinic, but the people at the clinic, they kind of like gave her a sedative that made her sleep it off. And so they made her leave. So she technically at this point is like 8 or 9 weeks pregnant. And now Bella knows. And she tells Bella, like, you know, we got to keep this a secret. I don't want your father to know right now. Even though she knows, like, this is bad, I probably shouldn't make her, you know, do something like this. But I can't have him knowing because I don't even know what I want to do. So, so they, you know, continue to spend a lot of time together, and they just kind of treat it like, you know, she going over her step parents' house. Like one day she's over here. Every day after school that Ethic was in the hospital, Alani would pick her up from school and then drop her back off at the hospital just like nothing happened. Okay, they done treated it like nothing happened. So it's kind of like around Christmas time. Not kind of, but it's around Christmas time, like a couple days before Christmas, and Ethic's like, I have to get out of here before Christmas because I got, you know, a lot of stuff that I need to take care of and a lot of stuff that I need to handle, you know, so I could be home for Christmas. So I'm going to stop right there. And I think it's only a little bit left in the book 2. So we're going to definitely jump right into book 3 after we get done with book 2. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I post a new video. Also, guys, if you have some recommendations as far as what I should eat, you know, after the ethics series, a book that I should discuss, I would really enjoy that. Also, if you want some discussion questions that you want to ask me, or some things that you feel like I missed in the book, if you've already read it, that I can touch back on, please let me know. I want this to be as interactive as possible. But thank you guys so much for watching. I enjoy you guys. I will see you tomorrow. And until next time, bye, my jujubes. This is going to click out. Bye.